we're going to explore how you can change a substance. So when you apply heat to a substance, how does it change?
When you apply heat to a substance, it gets hot and you don't want to touch it.
Can you tell me why you think that?
Well, when we play outside at recess and the sun's out, the swings get really hot and it hurts my legs.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay. When you apply heat to a substance, how does it change?
I think when you apply heat to a substance, it melts.
Could you give me an example?
Well, like, if I have an ice cube and I add heat to it, so like, maybe my hair dryer, it'll melt and turn into water.
Let's go give that idea a try. Here we have a bucket full of ice. So we've taken an ice cube and we've put it in our bowl. So now we're going to test your idea and see if when we apply heat from our hair dryer, if it'll melt the ice cube. Look, so now after we've applied heat with our hair dryer, the ice cube is melted into liquid water. Well, it looks like you guys were right. The ice cube melted. So do you think it's possible to turn the water back into ice?
Yeah, I've seen that happen before.
Well, obviously, when you put water into the freezer, it turns into ice.
Okay, well let's go give that a try and see if you guys are right. Okay, we're going to pour our water into the ice cube tray to see if it can form back into ice. So we'll stick it in the freezer and we'll check back in a little bit.
Go.
Alright, it's time to see if our water's turned into ice.
Okay.
Do you want to check it out?
Yeah. Well, look at that. It's like, just like the ice cube we melted. The water must have froze.
Okay, so the water froze and turned back into ice.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So we saw that when we add heat to ice, it melts into water. Then if we want to turn it back into ice, we cool the water down. So this change is reversible. Do you think all changes are reversible?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Why do you think that?
Because it happens with water, so why wouldn't it happen with everything else?
Well, of course. I mean, like, water is a perfect example, so I don't know why it wouldn't work.
Okay, well let's try testing something else than water. Let's add heat to a raw egg and see what happens.
Okay.
So we have a raw egg, and we're going to test to see if when we cook it by adding heat, it will turn into a solid. So you want to crack the egg?
Sure.
So we can see that right now the egg is a liquid, and we have it on the stove, so we're applying heat. So we're going to let it cook for a little bit and see what happens. So after adding heat to our raw egg, we can see that it's now a solid.
Yeah, it is.
Can you tell me about our egg after we added heat to it?
Well, it changed from a raw egg to a cooked egg.
It looks like scrambled eggs, so now it's no longer a liquid, but it's more of a solid.
Yeah.
So do you think that we can turn our cooked egg back into a raw egg?
Yeah, but I don't know how.
Well, I'm thinking, like, when we wanted to turn water back into ice, we put it in the freezer because we made it cold. So I'm thinking if we want to turn our cooked egg back into a raw egg, we need to put it in the freezer to make it cold.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, well let's go see if your thinking is correct. Would you please put our cooked egg back into the freezer and we'll see if it's turned from a cooked egg into a raw egg.
Sure.
We'll check in a few minutes. Okay, do you want to grab our cooked egg out of the freezer?
Yeah.
So we have two cooked eggs. We have one that we didn't place in the freezer and this one we did. So what do you notice about them?
Well, they look pretty similar to me. This one isn't back in its liquid form like Mary and I thought it would be.
Okay, so what do you think that tells us about adding or taking away heat from a substance?
I'm not really sure.
So we can tell that if we add heat to a raw egg, it turns into a cooked egg, like this example. But if we cool the cooked egg, we still end up with a cooked egg. It doesn't go back to its raw egg form.
Right, because these are the same.
Right. So we know that this change is not reversible.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we think back to our water example, we had ice that we heated up with a hairdryer and it turned into water.
Yep.
But when we put the water into the freezer, we got ice again. So this change is reversible. So therefore, From our investigations today, we know that some changes are reversible, like water, and some changes are not, like a raw or cooked egg.
Cool.